Hi, good evening and welcome. And here's your inspirational quote for this week. Someone's shitting. Hello and welcome. Here is your inspirational quote for this week. Someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. There we go. That quote is from an Indian wildlife photographer I follow on Instagram. I don't know who he was originally quoting, but that's where I saw the quote originally. Um, my goal from the last vlog, I've written a script for these vlogs now. It's coming along a little more professionally every single time. Or in reverse order, who knows? It's up and down, it happens. My goal from the last vlog was to analyze the principles of successful leadership that I've observed in my time at this college and jot them down to get a better feel for how I'm going to be guiding this club going forward. Getting audiences, I'm sure I've discussed this before, getting audiences engaged is a little extra tricky at this college, given both how small it is and post-pandemic fatigue and current political state of the country and world, and this college seeking to expand headcounts past what they can currently reasonably accommodate, but that's another story. In my, additionally speaking, or just additionally, in my time, I'm part of a spirit group now, and we've looked back on this whole thing where we look back on the history of the college, and spirit used to be a lot more lively. Like back when this was exclusively a women's college, and when the class rivalries were a massive thing, like they used to get into fistfights and stuff, like in broad daylight. It's just a lot of things have taken a turn, and it's it's just difficult in general to get people engaged and passionate about new things and being able to embarrass themselves, or I don't know. I would know a little bit about embarrassment. I've practiced doing it a lot here at this college, and I don't have a lot to fear besides how my reputation might lead into this. But that's okay. The freshmen don't need to know too much about that. So one of these things I have on this list is, or one of the components I have that, well, it's not really one of the components, but it bleeds into a lot of them, is I worry about this a little bit if I'm making myself out to be some kind of imposter, but I want to put on a bit of a persona for if I'm going to be teaching. Well, I will be teaching unless I can teach someone else who's better at teaching, but if I'm going to be leading this Lightsaber Club, I've got to put on a bit of a engaging persona for this, and I'll get into this in a bit, but let me see what else I've got. But yeah, as I probably mentioned, that's another thing I'm trying to fight with the Lightsabers Club. I also don't have a lot of leadership experience, so I've compiled a list of leadership skills that I have learned are actually really effective and helpful here at Randolph. Stuff that I've seen work in other clubs, extracurriculars, events that the school puts on that get lots of people hooked, and traditions that have survived. So I'm going to list those now. I'll start with the takeaway that I was just describing. Just put on a big show of caring, making big show of caring about your work, especially when it's hard. Don't lose energy even when you don't want to do something, because that will immediately show in your audience and they will be inclined to care less. I feel like I'm seeing that a lot, but without getting into too much detail. My voice is getting deep. I promise I'm not crying or anything. I'll try and speak louder because I know my computer has trouble picking up audio, so my next one is be silly. don't get too serious with students, or don't get too serious with your fellow students. They might perceive you to have some kind of like superiority complex, and no one wants that, no one needs that. We are all students here, and it's okay for us to joke a little back and forth. It's okay for us to make a little bit of fun, but just be able to reasonably measure a good joke or two with like straight up heckling or things like that. And even if someone starts heckling you, like as sometimes happens with a lot of the guys with egos at this college, just make it work against them somehow, or just learn to manage that. I'll develop a plan for that somehow. Or not a plan, but strategies. Have it all figured out. That's another thing. A bit of the persona is just making a big show of caring about what you're doing, is just have some real passion for this. If someone, don't come into it tired or not knowing how to answer someone's question. If you don't know how to answer someone's question, tell them or find some way to joke out of it and just go like, I don't know. Be energetic and keep that up no matter what. Even if you are having a bad day, don't be afraid to say that. Sometimes our professors are very vocal about like if they are tired or if they are not having a great day, and they still do their best to keep class going, and it turns out just fine. And so that can be really powerful. Give a little extra sometimes. If you can think of other things going on with students that might have been rough for them, find some way to, I don't know, make them comfortable, make them, as I said previously, be silly with them, joke with them a little bit. I'm scared of saying them a lot because these are my peers, but I don't want to I don't like referring to people as them. Maybe that's just my philosophy class that I'm coming out of and puts a very negative connotation to them, but I don't know. I want to work away from that, but for the time being, this is my blog where I'm spouting my thoughts before any of this exists, so it's okay. I have faith that these vlogs are just an accountability partner for me right now, and not many people are watching them, but it's okay. Hi, if you are watching this, I love you. Let me see. Show that you care about your people. Be kind and inviting to them. More of the obvious. If someone is really excited to be if someone's really going to be excited to be a part of this club but has some kind of issue with them either showing up regularly or performing moves, like, I don't know, we have, in stage combat right now, we have someone in a wheelchair, and our professor always goes way out of his way to make sure he has something to teach her and as ways to work around all the choreography that we are learning, and it has looked awesome so far. And it's entirely possible. You just have to show that it is. You have to put in the real effort for it, which, yeah. Another thing, don't try and be too specific with schedules unless your people are passionate enough. Don't try to be too specific with schedules. A consistent schedule is not really going to work for everyone here. Everyone is so busy all the time. I mean, if someone's really, really passionate about this, they will make it work every week, but that's more than likely not always going to be the case. Even there's a misconception that students have time at this college. If they're involved, they just don't. Or if they're uninvolved and want to live in their own life, live in their own world at this college, it's hard to get both in seats, no matter what's happening. But that's okay. There's plenty of ways to work around that. In terms of scheduling, I'm thinking about various things such as thinking about various things such as having weekly like drop-in schedules or weekly drop-in practices as you need them, like multiple times a week, or setting things up in advance that, I don't know. Scheduling, I think, will be a different topic for a different vlog, but it's okay. I'm getting the important stuff out of the way right now, I think. Yeah. Schedules unless people are passionate enough. I mean, obviously. Okay, let me elaborate on that a little more so it makes more sense. In terms of just like practicing lightsaber fighting technique, just feel free to go over the same things with people, and if it's fun, then people will be happy to do it again. And if you conduct it well, then people will be happy to practice it at all. And going back over it can just mean more practice for the people who need it, even if they had learned it already. And so I remember that from last year for a visiting artist who came to teach us a dance piece when some of us were not here for a piece earlier on, or were not here for a certain practice. He would reteach it, but he would be very specific about how it goes so that those of us who already knew how it goes would learn something new and would be able to refine themselves a little bit better. And so he had that way of making it work for everyone. That was nice. Kind of leads into the next one, be a male. When people see that, this is a weird thing I've noticed, when people see that like men are more passionate about something on campus, they're kind of all more inclined to pay attention, it seems like. That's really embarrassing and feels kind of dirty to say, but like, I don't know. There's seems to be a little bit of a disconnect with men here sometimes, depending on the subject or depending on what's going on. It can be a little bit harder to get men specifically engaged in things, which I like to think that the label of lightsaber dueling will get butts and seats right away, but I'll have to think about that. How long is this vlog already? 12 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Don't be too weird. Another persona thing. Don't. If people suspect you're too much of a nerd, they might run away or feel a little weird about showing up consistently. No beef. Do not start beef with anyone. Do not give reasons for the seeds of beef to be sown. That ruins everything, especially at a tiny campus like this. Can't stand it. Don't give any reason, for people to put dirt on your name. Leave a good impression with everyone. Don't blur things out. Don't spell out the little things. Let some people figure things out for themselves, and don't get too repetitive with little wisdoms that you have to offer. They'll lose their value. Everything is a process, and don't water it down with words or dumb it down, or if you spell things out too often for people, they'll kind of just lose interest and either think it's easy and they don't have to do as much work, or I don't know. But yeah, that's my list. My goal for next week, I think I'm gonna make it another. I think I remember this. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and start looking at lightsaber combat online schools, or just schools of combat in general that I can start practicing either sooner or over the summer. I have lots of sources already for that I could be checking out, but like Lightsaber Path, Ludosport, a lot of various sword fighting YouTube channels, and our stage combat professor on campus who has worked with a lot. But I'm gonna have to cut this sharp after 15 minutes, but I know I can do this, and so can you, and so can we, as long as we stick to it. I'll see you later.